Welcome to Adult and Lifelong Learning. On this brief presentation, we will take you step by step into two main topics: learning theory and andragogy. Finally, we will come up to one recommendation to teachers who are interested in enhancing the development of technology assisted autonomous and lifelong learning. Let's get started. What is learning? Is it a change in behavior or understanding? Is it a process? Along history, learning has been seen in two different ways: as a product and as a process. Learning as a product. In psychology textbooks from the 60s and 70s, learning is defined as a change in behavior, approached as an outcome, as the end product of some process, and in fact, they identified a crucial aspect of learning: change. At that time, there were two approaches to it: an external approach, in which learning might be something that just happens or it is done to you by teachers, where people go out and buy knowledge, and an internal approach where learning is seen as something that you do in order to understand the real world. Years later, learning appeared as a process thanks to a concern related to what happens when learning takes place. In this way, learning could be thought of as a process by which behavior changes as a result of experience. Rogers sets out two contrasting approaches: task conscious or acquisition learning, and learning conscious or formalized learning. Basically, task conscious or acquisition learning is seen as an ongoing all the time. It is concrete, immediate, and confined to a specific activity, like the learning involved in parenting or running a home. Here, the learner may not be conscious of learning. They are usually aware of a specific task in hand. On the other hand, learning conscious or formalized learning searches facilitating learning. It's educative learning rather than accumulation of experience. It involves guided episodes of learning. Both approaches can appear in the same context in school, families, or work. And here we got a question. But if learning implies a change, how or why those changes occur? So, for that, there are four different orientations that explain that. For behaviorists, there must be an observable behavior manifesting learning. From this perspective, what one learns is determined by the elements in the environment, not by the individual learner. The cognitive approach to learning pays a lot more attention to the individual's mental processes. In other words, they are concerned with cognition, the act or process of knowing, the internal cognitive structure. In the humanistic orientation to learning, the basic concern is for the human potential for growth. This orientation draws upon Carl Rogers, and for him, learning has a quality of personal involvement. It is self-initiated, it is persuasive, and it is evaluated by the learner and its sense in meaning. Finally, the social learning theory posits that people learn from observing other people. Such observations take place in a social setting, and one of the things that those observations do is that it allows people to see the consequences of those behaviors. They can gain some idea of what might flow from acting in this way or that. This orientation sets two very important aspects in which educators work so that people can become participants in communities of practice, and according to them, there is an intimate connection between knowledge and activities, so learning is part of a daily living.